Hello, planty people. As promised in some of my previous videos, I do have some repotting to do today. I did kind of walk around and look at everything, and so far at the moment, these four right here are the um, candidates for needing a repot at the moment. Um, Here soon-ish, some of those little baby Hoyas that I have I want to pot those up, but right now I'm still kind of just on the fence about it because I love them so much and I don't want anything to happen to them and they're little tiny, tiny cuttings. I have some over here. I'm going to grab some so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Oh, they're really wet. Okay. They're watering. I have them bottom watering at the moment, but these little guys. So this is the Lacunosa. Oh, hold on. I'm dripping water everywhere. Get a paper towel. Okay, this is the Lacunosa intervariegated. I have two of these. Beautiful, 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 stunning plants, but it's so tiny and so fragile that I'm just afraid to do anything with it. So I think I'm just going to let it hang out in this little pot for as long as possible. I just want the roots to get big and strong before I do anything with them. And this one as well, it's almost, some people may not see the difference, but this is the Hoya lacunosa soma. I also have two of these. Now, my plan is eventually for both of these and both of the intervariegated, I kind of want to put them together in a pot to make it a bigger plant. But all of these are just so tiny at the moment. So I think I'm just going to let them be for now. Um, Maybe even over the winter, I don't know. I get excited and I want to do these things, but I have to do what's best for the plants, of course. So for today, we're going to focus on these four here. This was the one that this is like the newest plant that I have. It's the Ficus lyrata or Fiddle-Leaf fig. Um, I don't necessarily have to repot this one, but I want to because we all know how I feel about this stuff. I don't know if it's like the cocoa core or something. I don't know, but it seems like it's wet all the time and it makes me very uncomfortable. And I just want it in my mix so that I can give it the best care that I can give it. So this will be one that we're doing today. This is actually like second newest plant. Look at how beautiful this is. Yes, this is a Hoya. It is apparently the Hoya Shining Sea Star, and it is quite stunning. Look at the pink. It's so pretty. It really is very pretty. And you guys are not going to believe, I still can barely believe, I found this at my local Home Depot. All of a sudden this year, my Home Depot had such an amazing variety of Hoyas. I was like, what? Are you kidding? I've never seen so many different types of Hoyas, especially at a Home Depot. So I snagged this, clearly. Look at how beautiful. But it is, I'd say it's ready, it was like a little flimsy cup that it came in, and these roots are coming out. So I think we're going to go ahead and pot this baby up. So pretty. I'm so happy I found this. I could not believe it. Couldn't believe it. Such a beautiful plant. So that will be one of them. And then, of course, here we have my ever so stunning variegated Euphorbia Ammaks, I don't know. Right now, you guys, like, I'm not even gonna lie, along with the Hoyas and the Monsteras, these right here are some of my like all-time favorite plants at the moment. I just think they're so beautiful. The colors on these, the form and the shape of them, the uniqueness of them. I don't know what it is, but I'm just absolutely in love with these right now. I love all of my euphorbias, but just gonna say it, these are definitely my favorites at the moment. I just got these over the summer and they're drying out every couple of days, literally. So they grow quickly. This one is actually newer than the other one, and I'm going to try to do this where you can see, but I don't want to dump everything out. Let me see. Can you guys see? I hope you can see there's a little root coming out of there already. So I think we're going to go ahead and pot these up because they are still growing. Look at the new little growth I have up at the top there. So I'm surprised that these are still growing even in November. This one too has some growth points up at the top there. And these, I have a plan for these. I love these so much. They're so beautiful. And the pots that I keep going on and on about that I keep finding at the nursery are what they're going to go into. And I just am so excited because I think that it's going to be absolutely stunning. A stunning pair here. I mean, tell me those colors together are not absolutely gorgeous. I know that this is somewhat of a jump in size of pot, but like I keep saying, these are growing rapidly. Rapidly. And these pots appear or feel like they will be quite porous. So I'm not too worried about it. And then that way they're going to have a lot of room to grow, and they're probably going to stay in these pots for quite some time. And, you know, if I can allow them to get their root system to establish well over the fall and the winter this year, and then keep them in these bigger pots over the summer, I expect to get a significant amount of growth out of these next summer. But I love this together. I love this combination. I'm going to honestly be really sad when I have to take these out of these pots, honestly, because I'm just so excited about this combination here. So both of these are going to go into, I have two of these sitting back here, so we'll do that. I think first we're going to just go from we're just going to go in this order. I'm going to do the Ficus Fiddle-Leaf Fig first, we'll do the Hoya next, and then we'll do the Euphorbias. So let's get into it. Okay, we're back with the Ficus Loretta Fiddle-Leaf Fig. And if you guys have watched some of my previous videos, you know that I have at first, apparently I did not really like these. I was not a fan of these, and I thought it was funny how everybody was just so obsessed with these. And then I started seeing these little ones, and I was like, you know, the little ones are actually pretty cute. And then I started seeing a lot of the big ones, and I was like, all right, they're growing on me, that's for sure. Oh, that just fell right off of there. Okay. And I feel like I jinx myself every time I do this. Like every time that I'm like not interested in a plant, it's like a month or two later, all of a sudden, I'm like, yep, all right, I gotta have like 3 of those now. So when I found this little one, I was like, all right, yeah, we'll start with the little one. I'm hoping, like I've said in a previous video, that it's kind of more so like the Ficus alii. I have 2 of those, and they're really the easiest ficus trees that I've ever grown. I have some of the Benjaminas as well. Those ones are a bit finicky. They like what they like, and they don't like to be changed. They don't like to be messed with. They don't, they're just very picky. They're very picky. They're very finicky. I think I finally have found the sweet spot for them all in my house. But even then, sometimes they'll just throw a fit for like no reason. And they like a lot of light. Same with the Ficus altissimas that I have. Those ones aren't quite as finicky as the Benjaminas, but they like a lot of light. And I don't have a lot of light in this house, so those are definitely under grow lights. And then I actually put those ones outside during the summer, because if I don't, they start losing their like lemon lime variegation because they're just not getting enough light. And I mean, shoot, if I could, I would just leave them outside, but it gets too cold here during the winter, so I can't really leave them outside. They will definitely freeze. So they just are going to be throwing a fit over winter. Even under my full spectrum grow lights, it's not enough for them. But they'll live. They're going to survive. They'll be fine. It's just the variegation is not going to be the best until I can get them back outside over the spring and the summer. I believe those are all of the, and the McClaim. I have the Ficus McClaim, and that one also, we kind of go back and forth. I put her in my bedroom. She seems to be liking it in there more than anywhere else that I've had her. I've had a lot of leaf drop from that one, so it is also another kind of picky, finicky Ficus. But the Ficus alii have been very easy for me. Very, I don't know, they just don't throw a fit like the other ones. So I'm hoping that this one will be more similar to those. Wow. All right, got a whole mountain of stuff here. So let me see what pot size I'm gonna put this in. I was thinking that it was gonna need something bigger because the pot that it was in, but I think I might just do one of these now that I see the actual root size of it. They're always stuck together. I love these little clear pots though too. I'm sure you guys have noticed, just because, you know, it's so much easier to keep an eye on the roots and the watering and everything. But it also is a lot easier, you know, to keep your pretty pots like clean, because, you know, obviously I'll put this like in a decorative pot and you wouldn't know the difference, but then that decorative pot is, it stays clean. So just all around, I love the little clear pots. Really do recommend and love them. What is that? So as I was mentioning in my last video, you know, potting up propagations that are just roots versus doing a repot, this is kind of what I was referring to. You know, you saw me mess with this for a while, and there's still, you know, a lot of soil and dirt, so it's just kind of a root ball. So I still fill the bottom of the pot, and then you just kind of like set it in there, and I need more soil in there because you don't want to put the stem too far under any soil. You don't want any rot there. But for the most part, at least for like a repot, I don't, you know, have to like hold it in the spot that I want it. I just have to fill the soil up to the spot that meets the roots, but still allows enough space, you know, to where the trunk or the stem or the vine or whatever plant you're planting is not going to be submerged in the wet soil for potential rotting. And I think that that's good. So just gonna set it in here like so, and then backfill with the soil. Just trying to keep it straight, really, with the repots is kind of my main thing. But like I said, at least I don't have to hold it and balance it in one spot while dumping the soil. Just at least try to keep it straight. Okay, there we have the Ficus lyrata Fiddle-Leaf fig. I kept the soil level exactly where it was on the stems, so that way, you know, no potential for rot there. Just like with the propagations, you know, any repots that you do, it is highly recommended to, once they're repotted, you always want to water them in. That way the roots can start establishing in their new home and new environment. And then just treat it like you would any other plant. But there is the Ficus lyrata Fiddle-Leaf fig. I don't think I'm going to do the watering on camera this time just because I don't have a lot of room here. So I'm going to repot everything. And then I'm going to do the watering at my sink. But I think you guys all know how to water. So there's that one. This is actually so cute, and I can't believe how much it's grown on me after saying that I'm not a fan. But, you know, that's what I do, I guess. Okay. Now we're going to do the oh so gorgeous Hoya Shining Sea Star. Quite the name. It's so pretty. I just cannot believe that I found this at Home Depot. Honestly. What? Just gonna loosen up the roots a little bit, because this soil that it came in, I actually don't mind too much, and I don't want to disturb the roots too much, but just gonna kind of make them a little bit looser so that way in its new pot it can sprawl out its roots a little bit easier. And okay, there we have the Hoya Shining Sea Star. Now these as well, like I've gone over before, I kind of treat these like my succulents. They like to dry out between waterings. They like a lot of bright, indirect to direct light. Don't put them directly, you know, in the afternoon sun. It can scorch the leaves, but Hoyas tend to get like a really pretty purpley pink if they're a little bit sun stressed. So I'm kind of okay with that. This turned out to be the perfect little upsize pot for this. I think it is going to be very happy and give me a lot of new growth. But yeah, I kind of just like succulents. A lot of good light and let them dry out. So pretty. Oops. Okay. Next, we're gonna do this Euphorbia Ammaks. And I mean, luckily, okay, yes, these have thorns. Yes. Ouch, touch, don't touch, don't touch. But, you know, in between, they're pretty smooth, which is great. However, you know, for all of my Euphorbia and my cacti, what I, for some reason, have come to learn works the absolute best for me is, out of all of the things that I've tried like super heavy duty gloves. I've tried, you know, the plastic bag method, the newspaper method, and nothing seems to work. I always get hurt or I always get poked, but I started using bubble wrap. I know it sounds kind of weird, but bubble wrap seems to work the best for me with handling, you know, succulents and cacti with spikes or thorns. So that's what I'm going to use today to handle these things. Surprising, I know. Now these Euphorbias, you know, kind of like cactus, like these actually, even more so than some cactus, these like as much sun and light as you can possibly give them. So they sit in the direct sun all day during the summer, and then I put them in my office windowsill to try to get as much light as possible throughout the fall and the winter. And it seems to be working since they are continuing to grow. Like, this is so tight. It's crazy because when I put this in this pot in the beginning of summer, it had barely any roots. I can't really see the roots in here, which is kind of strange, but I can feel that it's gotten pretty tight in there. So I guess we're about to find out. And this soil, I'd say, is still pretty good to like use. Let me fill up the bottom of this real quick though. Anyway, I may not need to use the bubble wrap, but I've got it just in case. And that's another thing that I really love about these Ammaks is just like the form of them. Like, I love that they have the thorns, but I also love that I can touch them in some areas without getting poked, whereas like most cacti, you know, they're just covered in spikes. So I don't know. I think that these plants are so cool and so unique, and they really are just one of my absolute favorite plants at the moment. Yeah, that's tight. It's a tight little root ball. So I'm just gonna kind of loosen it up a little bit, like I did with the Hoya, and see what happens. It's really tight. It wants to grow. Okay, that should probably do it. Get a little bit more soil in there. And yes, like I had said, I know that this is a pretty large pot size to go up, but as I've said, you know, these are growing rapidly, and it has been trying to break out of this pot just, you know, in a matter of months. So I obviously will definitely let them dry out very good. And on top of it, I do believe these pots are going to be quite porous. So I'm not super worried about it. I think they'll be fine. And then especially thinking that I will get a really good amount of growth over the summer if I allow it to establish a good root system into this pot over the winter. At least that's the hope that I have for these. This is so exciting. I've been waiting so long to put these in these pots. I am just obsessed with this combination, the like gray black kind of like vintage pot with this like yellow green color of the plant. I'm so excited about this. Ouch, it got me. Okay, one down. I love it. Love it. And I didn't even need to use the bubble wrap. I did get poked a few times, but not that bad. So, okay, I'm gonna grab the other one. Okay, this one I can't squish because that's a terracotta pot, so I did grab a little knife that I have stolen and has become the plant knife. So I have a feeling that this one's gonna be somewhat tight as well, since we've got a root coming out of the bottom of the pot. Another reason I do love the clear pots is, you know, they're really easy to handle and to maneuver as well. You know, if you just give them a nice little squish, usually the plants will just kind of come right out of them, versus putting plants directly into like these terracotta pots or decorative pots. You kind of have to like dig them out if they're stuck in there or rooted in there. But nonetheless, I'm really excited about these. And the thing is too with these is I was thinking about just putting these into one of these pots, but it just like wouldn't fit correctly. I don't know. It's like you could see it coming out. So I don't know. Like with cacti and succulents, I'm definitely more prone to put them into like actual pots because of the porousness of the pots, but I don't know. Just depends on what I have and what I'm working with, but I do love the clear pots for a lot of different reasons. I just put this in this pot, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and look at that. Yeah, okay. So, good call. Oh, I'm so excited about this. And here we have them in all of their glory. I think they look so much better, and I think that they are going to be much happier now with the fresh soil, the new pots, a little bit more room to grow. Again, here we have the Ficus lyrata Fiddle-Leaf fig. I know that I'm going to be much happier with it in my soil mix, knowing that I can give it the best care that I can provide for it. The Hoya Shining Sea Star, quite the name. Stunning, beautiful plant. I love the pinks on the leaves, and I know I'm always saying I don't really like pink plants, but the subtle pinkness on these with the white variegation, I really love this plant. It's very stunning, and I'm so happy that I just kind of stumbled upon it at Home Depot. Still absolutely cannot believe that, but it was ready. You saw the roots coming out of the bottom. I think that this little pot size up was the perfect size for it. So I think that it will be very happy in here for at least a while. Hoping to get some decent growth off of it. And then of course the absolutely stunning Euphorbia variegated Ammaks. I mean, these colors, these greens and yellows and lime greens mixed with this pot, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the pots and the Euphorbia Ammaks. I think they are just such unique, cool plants. And they're so easy. You know, they are succulents. Like I said, these ones specifically, they really want like as much light as possible. I stick these in the full direct sun all day during the summer, and then they sit on my windowsill in my office during the fall and the winter because it gets the most light in there. They like a lot of light, but then, you know, treat them just like a succulent. They want light, sun, let them dry out between waterings, and as you can see, they grow pretty rapidly. At least the roots definitely grow quite rapidly. And then I am still getting the new growth on the top. It's so cute how these grow. It actually grows little leaves, and then the thorns come out of the leaves, and then the leaves fall off. You can kind of see them better on this one. See the little leaves coming up? Very, very, very interesting plants. I recommend, you know, maybe not for small children because they can prick you. They do hurt, but they're really easy to care for. Put them in a windowsill with good sun, let them dry out in between waterings, and they're just such interesting, cool plants. I love them. I want more of them, and I can't wait for these ones to get bigger. I'm obsessed. But anyway, those were the ones for today. Like I said, I do want to do some of those little Hoyas soon, but I think right now, just to be more safe than sorry, I'm going to let them chill where they are for now. Hopefully soon I will have the courage to pot them up together. But other than that, I thank you so much for joining me on a small random repotting journey here. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you all go and try to find a Euphorbia Ammaks. But yeah, thanks so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you all have a lovely, wonderful planty day. And I'll see you in the next one.